What's up everybody? Mike Noward here with Werk-Brau, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the teeth options that you have and how they're going to affect the productivity on your job site. You may be asking yourself the question, what's going to be the most effective product for me? I promise if you stick with us to the end of the video that we're going to teach you a little bit about the options and what might be best for your job site. Starting off, we have our heavy-duty standard bucket. And what that would mean is you're gonna have standard teeth across all of the cutting edge. This would be an example of a standard tooth right here. So we have a standard tooth and then we have a spade tooth. So you'll notice the biggest difference is gonna be the profile and how thick it is, and also the width. The biggest advantage you have for a spade tooth is that you're gonna get a flatter cut versus a standard tooth. You're gonna have a better penetration force into the material that you're digging in. With a standard tooth, we like to think of it as the workhorse of the teeth that you can get. It's gonna cover the biggest variety of projects and activities that you might encounter, versus a spade tooth is gonna be more specific or application specific. The nice thing is, if you get a standardized spacing, you're going to be able to, in most cases, swap between the two. So if you have a particular job where you're trying to get a flatter trench, you may want to swap out for a spade tooth. But if you're in a little bit tougher digging condition or a standard digging condition, you're going to go with more of a standard tooth, and you're going to retain material a little bit better. A standard heavy-duty bucket essentially has got, as we said before, standard teeth across the cutting edge. Again, it's going to be most popular for your general construction, loading out material, anything that's a heavy-duty application, a little bit more abrasive. The next option would be what we call our metro style bucket. So a metro style, what I like to think of it is it's a hybrid bucket. It basically has spade teeth across the middle, and then it has a standard tooth on each of the outside edges. What that's going to give you is a hybrid, which is going to allow you to dig in tougher material, but also give you that nice flat trench. The biggest advantage of going metro versus, let's say, an all-spade bucket would be that you keep or maintain as close to the standard cutting width of a standard bucket. So if this bucket, let's say, was 36 inches and the cut was 38, a metro bucket would still maintain that cut. A spade style bucket, which you're gonna have spade teeth all the way across, and that's gonna give you tighter gaps and a clean edge, almost one line all the way across. The biggest benefit to that bucket is you're gonna get the flattest, cleanest trench that you can possibly get. You are gonna lose some penetration force that you would typically get with a standard tooth. If you decide to go with a spade bucket, you're typically going to get a wider cut. So what does that mean for you? Instead of a 36-inch bucket, you may be looking at a 40-inch cutting edge. So those teeth are going to hang out quite a bit wider than the bucket. In terms of making the decision of what's right for you, it really depends on what your primary work set is. So if you're the type of person that is digging in soft soil and really wants to get a nice flat trench, wants as little cleanup as possible, an all-spade or a metro might be right for you. And really the width is going to be the determining factor whether you want to go with a metro or a spade, all-spade option. One downside to both of those options is depending on the tooth that you pick, it may be so wide that you can't get as narrow as you want. The limiting factors are really twofold. So you have the distance between the shanks and the welds on those shanks and how close you can get those together, which is predetermined by the tooth manufacturer. But you also have the distance between the tips of the teeth. So you got to be able to fit them both in without making contact. The biggest downside I see with both of those options is that a lot of times you have to remove all the teeth if you want to change a tooth out. Just due to the nature and how close those teeth are, you're going to oftentimes have to remove all the teeth. But if you can accommodate that, you're not changing teeth all that often, it may be the right situation for you. Picking your tooth is important. A lot of times we just kind of like a throwaway thing that we're not thinking too hard about it when we're making a decision on a bucket. But a tooth can really impact your productivity, and it's something we should all be thinking harder about. Thanks again for watching our video. We're so excited to have you here on this journey with us, answering our customers' questions. If you have any questions, please make sure to comment below, like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to grow the channel. And if you want to, reach out to our product specialist today.